do the same thing if Griffin once again think the Lucian funnel is a good idea. Starting off on the blue side, we'll get the bans as Pixum ban has already come upon us.
This week we are on patch 8.13. The hotfix is finally enabled, so same patch you saw in NA and EU on the weekend. So Aatrox even better, almost always the first ban on red side. See if Griffin just bans it away. They don't already. Curious because we've learned that red side bans are pretty fixed most of the time, Atlas. We're thinking of good old Aatrox as a first ban, then Taliyah as a second, and from there we just go in and just go for the very standard bans on red side. Are we just going to see a big change-up in the meta because the Nocturne is usually the third ban on red side as well? Seems already they're forcing a Nocturne ban on blue side.
Yeah, not wanting to see that, despite the fact that we are on the hotfix, so Nocturne did take a little bit of a hit, but not enough. It's definitely true. Those who were responsible of 8.14 sort of forgot that we didn't quite nerf him enough, alongside Taliyah as well, who will probably need a ban as we have a look to the blue side to see what Hanwha want to do. Aatrox, of course, disgusting. But we won't see him.
Don't you like the fact that a Rakan ban got them a free Nocturne ban? Because almost every other team is forced to ban Taliyah, Aatrox, and Nocturne on red side. Hanwha Live kind of give a bit of information saying, wait, we're not ready to first pick that, and ban it away. Pyke going to be the final ban here. This is actually a flex ban against Griffin because already revealed and Viper was interviewed and talked about playing 80 carry Pyke in the bot lane. Sadly, we're not going to see that or Lehens on another pick support. Taliyah the final ban. But still, most of the meta stuff is taken away. The Swain flex pick will be selected in the first pick here by many teams, but maybe not by Hanwha Live.
Yeah, we'll see whether Lava does want to go towards the Zoe, and he locks it in. You could imagine that the Swain will be considered now, but oh god, Griffin. Sword, I hope you're trolling us. But they do think that it works. So, obviously, I mean, they played it 2 games in a row. It must be working in scrims. There's 10 seconds to go. Are Griffin just going to try and prove themselves that third time is the charm? Morgana would be the most coveted pick here if they want to run that strategy. But it seems dangerous. Okay, Morg is going to be locked in, so not necessarily running funnel just yet.
We'll see if the funnel is coming. This would suggest no, and Tarzan even has Smite. Whoa, what a decent choice there. But Tarzan, Morgana Swain could be an entire bot lane duo. This is what they tried to run when Chovy was in the lineup, but Chovy got dunked and then some. In the bot lane in that series against Afrika, aiming Varus just ran over. The Swain had more than a Flame Horizon above him, and that wasn't due to any funnel. That was just a 2v2 victory. But we all know where Hanwha Life will go in terms of the jungle tier list. More and more teams copying them and saying that Kindred is basically first rotation in every game. They will take it on the blue side for Songwon.
Yeah, Songwon going to be playing that as well, which does certainly stand out in a lot of our minds because he is so aggressive early on. You do have a lot of tools to move around the map, lock down as many marks as you possibly can, but also get some pretty sweet ganks off, and we know that Songwon is known for that. The First Blood King was, of course, his title when he was playing super well, but the Ezreal-Zoe combination is once again going to be employed. We've seen this go up and down so far here in the LCK.
This time it's not going to be necessarily paired with a Tahm Kench. Can still be very viable, Atlas, but I can understand some of the skepticism, and look at this.
Right.
It's actually an old pick for Rather. He is a Talon player. He played it in the promotion tournament against Karma. This time it's against the Zoe.
Well as well.
He had a really good game there. We'll see if the summoner spell changes. Smite is the most used summoner. We're not on patch 8.14, so no changes in how funnel works. So
yeah,
even though it's not going to be a true funnel situation, can get over-leveled as Talon and be affected if you go for the Smite. Right now, just hovering over the cleanse. If it's rather like before, it might just be a straight-up Talon.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll see what is going to happen here. Not going to write it off just yet that it won't be the Smite. I personally like the self-funnel Talon option. Get that level advantage in the mid lane. Tahm Kench going to be taken off the board here because the Ezreal Tahm Kench combo has been demonstrated to be pretty damn phenomenal by many, many teams.
It's also 3 epically squishy champions, so the ability to single target, disengage, and deny rather would be very desirable on the side of Hanwha Life. Maybe you have to like take a Taric or something to try to get through the teamfight phase, but the laning phase would be weak if they do opt into the Taric. Waiting to see what the solution is here is Hanwha Life staring at most likely Morgana Swain bot lane and the Talon in the mid lane, but this is Griffin. They could definitely get frisky with some of the lane assignments.
Yeah, and it looks like Hanwha probably considering something like a Sejuani ban here, but of course, the Trundle available as well. It's interesting that they went for the Skarner ban, even though Tarzan, of course, was the one that made the Skarner so famous. It is going to be Camille taken away in the end. We'll see whether Griffin lock in the jungle here on this pick. You'd expect so.
I want to see the Trundle, baby. Give me that Trundle.
Yeah.
I know it's a self-counter pick.
But we've seen it work.
Expectations of the matchup. We've seen it work with our best Trundles. And I think Tarzan has been impressive. Has the synergy with the Swain as well. And we will be seeing the Trundle reached for once again. 2 deaths in 5 games. Tarzan has been really a treat to watch in terms of his jungle pathing on the Trundle.
And unless they're going to put the Trundle somewhere weird, it means no funnel this game as well, Pub Smithy. Thank you very much, Griffin. As Hanwha Life Esports to decide what they're going to do. Of course, not going to be funnel over their side either, given the Kindred is in the roster. We do have the Braum being picked up here for Key, though, and we'll see what they round out the roster with now, as Linderung's pick could potentially just be the Mundo, but with the last pick open here for Griffin, it's likely they don't want to run it into a potential Darius from Sword.
Gragas has evolved with his changes on 8-13 to be a very reliable top laner. This would be what they're selecting. It would deny away the Gragas cask as an answer for the Lamb's Respite. And right now, Griffin don't have an AoE disengage option. Alistair is available and an old favorite, but I don't think we're going to see an Alistair. We're actually seeing a hover on the Quinn. You laugh, but there's definitely some Quinn players around.
Oh, dude, I'm one of them, man. I've been loving the Quinn on the top side of the map. She just abuses people. The fact that Harrier now works really, really well is great. We're not going to see it. No. It's going to be Mundo, but damn, it would have been cool if it was Quinn.
So let's see what this all means. Going to be the Morgana Swain bot lane after all. Viper back on an awesome dude. The Mundo from Sword, an old favorite. Pretty calm farm lane outside of some early-in opportunities. If we do see an all-in come through from the Kindred and Gragas in the early game, they don't necessarily have a clean answer to the Lamb's Respite, but it can be trivialized. It's not always a one-way street with the Lamb's Respite. It can definitely go both ways, and fans will definitely be happy to see the funnel is gone, the standard is back. We've got some fun picks here for game number 1.
I feel like when you're talking about answers to Lamb's Respite, they have basically all of them. Demon Flare, absolutely fantastic. Wait for that heal to go off, kill literally everyone in the middle of the Lamb's Respite. Soul Shackles can stun everyone once it's finished. They've got a lot of options. The bleed from Rather as well can be very important when teamed up with the Ignite, because it denies the heal and then kills them.
How are we doing with chance today?
Here we are.
Interesting.
But just a bit laggy. There we go. We get both the chance in, and now finally into game 1.
Is it possible the Hanwha Life fans didn't realize you chant first if you're blue side?
That may have been it. And then the Griffin guy just went. He's like, no, I love Griffin so much. Let's go.
Interesting.
I still don't know how they work out who is going to be the one to lead the chant.
I don't have an answer.
Do you get a ticket that has like chant leader on it?
We do have the key, so
we
that's
finally
helpful.
have the key fans.
Key this time, he had to go for a melee support. Otherwise, they would be just the most squishy Atlas. So ended up with Braum, one of the stronger laning phase in the Taric we were talking about.
Also,
Sweeper level 1.
Yeah, I really like Braum when teamed up with the Gragas as well, when you can get those knockups set up for a good cask in the middle of these fights.
A lot of level 1 here, because of course the battle for the Scuttle is always going to be started by how much of a leash and on which side the jungler begins on. We know Trundle's actually soloing down, and for the first time in a while, no leash from either bot lane. See if that means we do actually have these 2 junglers fighting for the mark on the bot side. We haven't seen a spawn yet, but it seems like bot side Scuttle is where both junglers are pathing towards.
Yeah, often is where that mark does end up turning up. See whether the Kindred's going to get lucky this time with the topside mark spawn for Songwan. Have to find out when that mark actually comes in. It looks like it is bottom side. Not entirely sure if there's a fat Trundle on top of it, but there we go. Junkyard Trundle as well, my personal favorite.
You see double wards, so both teams knowing about what was happening bot side. Only a blue side ward top side, so there was more information overall, and this ward is getting a lot of value.
A lot of value indeed. Could be the red steal anyway, though, because Rather does have some priority here in the mid lane.
And also consider what's happened. He's going for the red steal, and the buff, if someone wanted to trade, is not on the same side of the jungle, so you would have to go very aggressive. But seeing a double collapse.
Yep, Key is going to turn up. The smite comes down, though, and Black Shield is going to deny Key the slow from the Winter's Bite. Really good steal to come in from Tarzan. He set himself up for this 3-buff start Didn't deny an extra scuttle, but still a fantastic start for the Trundle.
And this is so smart from the side of Griffin. Consider that they had the invade from Sword to know that they started top side. And as we were mentioning, Songwon had no camp to answer on the top side of the map because it was red buff into enemy red buff, and getting to the enemy blue buff was going to be through a pushing lane from the Talon. These are the smart macro decisions we see Tarzan make again and again. If you're going to take Trundle into the Kindred, you need to be ahead in the pathing. He's ahead in the pathing in game number 1.
And it's something that's just wasted if they play the funnel as well, because the Braum not going to be doing the same intelligent moves autonomously around the map. He's just going to be hanging out with Illusion or something else. So I like it as well, Papa, and we'll see whether this is going to shape how this game is going to play out, because already the 3 buff has been concluded. Going to be taking the Wolf Camp here as well. It's not going to spell too much of a problem as far as the experience is concerned, because Songwon can just take his other camps, but now he's running out as he goes back to base and grabs his Skirmisher's Saber.
It's definitely going to be delayed on the marks. Sometimes you can get 2 if you get very lucky early in the game, but see where the next one spawns. Nice little start from Griffin. Again, it's nice to see these things because our most recent data point is them running the funnel and not really being able to show some of the Griffin flair that people have come to know and love. We're trying to evaluate Griffin based on their second round robin because the honeymoon period is over. They are now playing teams for the second time, and what I want fans to understand is while some teams lost to Griffin after they'd played, say, 6 or 7 series and been a top team, it's very different to watch other people play against a team and try to learn about them and actually have your own tape, have your own experience playing against Griffin, and then make your own adaptation. So I think that Griffin will lose more games in the second round robin. They went 8-1 in the first round robin. I had them down before that loss last week at 6-3 for the second round robin, but they might be even more attacked and taken down. We just have to wait and see.
Still, I believe they will finish pretty damn up there when it comes to the standings. There's not a lot of teams that can take them down as that back is stopped. Linderong in trouble as Tarzan just walks his way in, still has the pillar available, throws it down now. Good body slam for the disengage, and Linderong holds onto his flash this time as Sword was clearing out a minion wave.
Just all about the interrupt there. Can't get a flash out of Linderong. That would have been the most he could have hoped for. Linderong going for this new Gragas tech. We see a lot of Comet Gragas just to be even more annoying in the laning phase. Giving that extra 50 range onto the Drunken Rage, the W auto attack trades. Applying Comet is just very free damage that's annoying for the enemy to deal with, so the Comet makes a lot of sense in that regard. We still haven't seen anyone go for the AP Gragas that people are loving in solo queue, but we're ready for it, Atlas. I want to see some AP Graggy, Reginald style from 2010. Let's go.
Oh, I believe. The Wild Turtle special when he subbed in. Oh, beautiful stuff. That's probably going back a little bit too far.
That was his off-roll, Atlas.
Was it?
Yeah. It turned out it was off-roll for him. And, of course, now we know that he's an AD carry from the last 6 years, Atlas. 7 years.
However, I think he did go back to playing mid lane for a while after that particular sub-in.
Well, that was because Niantonso was a better AD carry, as we continue to talk about 2011, 2012.
Oh, the Vayne God himself. I haven't thought about that dude for a very long time.
He came to Korea. He was a lovely guy. Met him in 2015. He was here while he was a sub for... Oh, I'm trying to reach for who he was a sub for. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I'm sorry, man. But that's certainly digging deep when it comes to the history books. We'll have to do some research between games. We'll come back to you with some Niantonsu stats. As you can see, the mid lane going nicely here for Lava, as he's just trying to push rather in over and over again. See whether the Talon can actually escape this lane, though, as there are more points put in the Rake. It's easier just to insta-clear, and he will soon have the Tiamat as well for the ultra farming combo.
Tiamat into Rake. Does clear the back line when you get enough points in the W. Big Rake nerfs on patch 8.14, but not on this patch, so Alan's still going to be a pretty reliable pick we see from time to time. That's the barrier, just to look for a potential aggressive trade. Now has the Proto Belt, so Lava just doing standard Zoe things.
Yep, picking up all sorts of free stuff, as Rather is going to miss that cannon creep, which is unfortunate. Songwon pathing towards the top side of the map at the moment, going to give over the blue buff to the Zoe. Might give an opportunity for Rather to try and find himself somewhere else, because the bottom lane is pushing in for Hanwha life. Does mean that the Talon may have an opportunity, but so far there's good ward in the river. Pretty standard stuff. I feel like Talon and Talia, despite the fact that they do start with the same 2 letters, also you need to ward against them in a very similar fashion.
We were kind of previewing that top lane and bot lane were expected to be farm lanes after they were locked in, so we've just been inspecting as to when we'll finally see Talon skip out of the mid lane and make some plays. Didn't go for Moby Boots first, which we often see. If you start Talisman, you just go Talisman into Mobies and do all sorts of crazy things. Going to be Serrated Dirk here.
Which is crazy. Normally we'd see a Tiamat before the Serrated Dirk would come in as well, so already a lot of changes here to Rather, but we know this guy is a very seasoned Talon player. He's been playing him for a very long time, so might have an idea that we may not yet know about.
Well, I mean, it's pretty clear, Atlas. If I ask you, if you don't buy a Tiamat for Waveco and you buy a Serrated Dirk, what are you better at? The answer is clearly killing. So he's still very interested in killing, and he might even give up some minions to pull it off.
Yeah, it might actually be killing Lava that he's interested in as well, because you can still take down the minions in the mid lane if you just kill your mid lane opponent. You don't need to roam anywhere if you do that one.
Well, you give up some minions and kill Songwon, who is eminently squishy.
That's
Songwon
true.
going for the Blood Racer build this time, you'll notice, as he has a recurve bow in the infantry.
Yeah, I've seen this more and more over the last few Kindreds that have come out. It's almost getting to the point where it's a bit 50-50. I like it, having a lot of differences just based on how you want to be playing out these fights.
I think if you have early Executioner's Calling or early healing reduction onto the Mundo, combined with the Blood Razor, you have a lot of kill pressure onto him. I think Warrior in general is more reliable because you don't have to have as extended trades as you do with Blood Razor. Another thing I felt, as we're seeing Braum take a lot of free damage here,
actually, he could just die as the shield has come in from the Guardian, but it doesn't matter. Jumps into the sky and then into the Death Chamber. The ultimate not on cooldown, which is certainly good news, but that's just a straight-up 2v2 kill for Griffin on the bottom side.
Really bad look for Key, who has played so many one-offs and been so impressive on new picks, but on the Braum, it's too easy for them to give up a kill, and in the 2v2 means that Trundle can waddle over to the Infernal. They could start that if they want, but right now Tarzan more interested about map control than starting off at Drake.
Yeah, it looks like they do want to get these wards down so that the punishment can come in. Remember, there's no flash now on the Braum. He could potentially be free food for Rather, who, like you say, wants to get some killing done ASAP. The mark needs to be denied here on the top side of the map for Tarzan, but some good turret damage, as our observers are going to show us, and the Infernal Drake is going to remain alive for now.
Someone behind the pit skips over it. This is information to the side of Griffin. They know about this, but it was timed as Rather went into his recall. So there should still be a Drake to Hanwha life. They do it very quickly.
Well, Lehens is moving over. Viper wants to get down here as well, as Sangyun is just going to hop over. Dance of Arrows should get there for Songwon as well. He is over the wall. So nice pickup here from Hanwha, stealing an Infernal Drake out of under the noses of Griffin.
It seems like the trade there from Griffin was, let's take it, clear some wards, and deny a mark. So trying to keep the Kindred honest, and Kindred only has, I believe, one mark. So you can understand that from Tarzan, but at the cost of losing that Infernal, because Zoe has had mid lane control and Rather was on a back. So it still ends up being pretty costly. They don't get the full benefit, but they start to continue, and it's definitely going to be a late 4 stacks for Songwon here, because with Tarzan on the case, there's no free marks.
Yeah, that was really, really unlucky for Songwon as well. That mark just got put down as Tarzan decided that he was going to start killing the Rift Scuttler. So he's going to have to try and figure out the next one. Songwon. Okay, Sword may actually get a bit frisky here. Songwon may need to rely on that passive a little bit more. Does take down the Gromp, but now not really able to fight or gank, and Rather is on the patrol, trying to see whether he's going to be greedy.
I think he's been spotted here. Maybe not. Lava walking up.
Yeah, Lava certainly has been spotted. Assassin's Path could get Rather here very quickly. Shadow Assault comes down as Lava has been ignited. The passive is running, but Trouble Bubble gets it, and Stopwatch keeps Lava alive.
Really nice turnaround by Lava. A big information advantage to the side of Rather, but Lava turns it around, gets the kill, backs away, doesn't even need Songwon for assistance.
Oh, stunning stuff, and then utilizing the Stopwatch perfectly as well. Good binding from Lehens, but not too much of a worry here. They can clear out that minion wave pretty easily. Teleport to get towards this mid lane as now Songwon. Flash already from Lava, gets himself out of the way of the Never move, and Hanwha Life, they're going to get flashed on, but there's the Lamb's Respite. Hanwha Life Esports not to be dove today, and Lehens, he could actually be in trouble here if Key can lock him down. Another teleport is Linderung. He's the one that's super far forward now. Ultimate comes down from Sword, but he's taking a lot of damage still. Songwon hops out of the way, but it's not far enough as Tarzan grabs the kill, and Lehens now with the Soul Shackles gets one stun. They haven't taken the turret. It's a double kill for the Trundle as he's now tanking up turret. No, in fact, it's Viper as Lehens grabs it now as well, and they dove that beautifully on the side of Griffin.
Griffin, calm down. It's 13 minutes into the game, and they're diving between two turrets in the mid lane. They get the kills, so they do spare the blushes. A lot invested. They're not going to get a lot of turret damage, unfortunately, so objectives on the back end, not this time.
Yeah, not quite, but still able to grab those kills, and now it's a 2-0-0 Trundle. He's going to be getting himself very, very tanky over the next back. Could mean that coveted Rift Herald could be taken. There's good vision available at the moment from Hanwha Life Esports, but Tarzan will have a pretty huge lead when it comes to items when he gets back from the shop.
So we're going to skip over the first death. So this 1-0 to Hanwha Life as it starts. Viper comes in with the black shield still on him because it was put down by the Morgana as his teleport was channeling. They get out the Lamb's Respite, and you'd assume this was the end of the action. You assumed wrong. As first comes in the Mundo, for the kill onto Linderung. So many summoners now down. Will they be able to return to these? An interesting question. I love the Pillar, because Pillar is behind 3 people, and there's terrain there, so there's nowhere to juke the Morgana. Dark Binding, someone is getting hit by it. They get the double kill, reset aggro with swords. Use of the stasis there. It's a lot invested, but it is at least order to the madness by Griffin.
Yeah, I really like it. Sort of spares what Rather had been a little bit worried about, which was that solo kill earlier on that you said, of course, was not represented in the replay. He's going to go back, has a Hex Drinker now, so death won't be coming as easily. Lava needs to be respected now, 1-0-0 on this Zoe.
I was about to say, I don't think you really want to opt into too much around him. Chovy is, of course, the mechanical player. Rather hasn't seen a lot of play in the LCK because Chovy has reinforced their mid lane laning phase. Rather was seen as the big weakness of this team. The word from Challenger was that their solo lanes were the big problem, as Sword was a bit of a tank-only player. He's been able to diversify and has had some good games on Aatrox and other champions in the LCK. And Rather's laning phase outside of dodging laning phase champions like Lulu and Galio, just kind of safe utility mid laners, was pretty weak. The talent for him is a unique pick for him that he's had a lot of success in the past, but as we can see, the step up here means that sometimes the all-ins, the calculations are a bit off for Rather.
Yeah. It was played very well from Lava. You're right. First mistake, 0, 1, and 0 now on the Talon, who wants to get started pretty early in this match in order to stay relevant or become relevant.
Uh-oh, it's going to
hurt. Trouble Bubble going to come down. Paddlestar comes in. It's just a quick one because that was going to run out. But he's gone for the Moby Boots, so those Trouble Bubbles last for a long time.
That's a champ built for roaming, so it makes sense that he'll go Moby Boots, whatever the matchup. And, of course, always the backup option of just him splitting as the game goes on. Looking at damage numbers and reminded that Dr. Mundo is still Dr. Mundo.
Lance has done 4.5k though, that ain't bad, as the Morgana. Of course, he's just putting puddles under people, but
I wonder how much of that damage is to the Braum. Probably about 4,200.
He did kill him, so I guess there's that.
And Lehens has got a couple of multi-man ults this game as well that have been very important, like on the turret dive that we showed earlier.
Yep. There's Lava, he's getting dove on. It's another ult to come out from Rather, as this time no, he can't! As they get into the Lamb's Respite, now the ults to layer on top, and the stasis once again is going to be there. Lehens grabs the kill as Rather dodges out of the way of the Trisha Barrage, but only barely, like you allude to, Papa. Hanwha Life Esports unable to get anything, and someone goes down.
No Tom Kench, but I'm clenching during these fights. So close multiple times on deaths. I love the fact that the Kindred is once again there. Team's getting way better, Atlas, at understanding the range of that Lamb's Respite. No 100-unit deaths because people don't respect it. They get the kill there, finally, but it goes to Lehens, so I guess he's going to have a real fast Zonies.
He is. Already has that Fetish Codex picked up, and 20% CDR with the Kindle Gem that's casually sitting in his back pocket, and his Lucidity Boots.
We'll see if it is actually the Zonius. Could actually just go into Shirelius, another option for a bit more team utility rather than the single target utility that we usually see.
He's got a whole bunch of different options in his inventory at the moment. As let's have a look at this one once again.
They really don't like Lava very much. He used his portal jump in order to put down the ward. Falls low, but here's Songwon doesn't even have to flash, just Q's in, puts down the ultimate, and with Rather so low, you think, oh, this is going to be the turnaround that Hanwha Life are looking for. Instead, the back end of the Rake and the Ignite do take down the 1 kill for the side of Griffin. This game is still very close. Biggest worry for the side of Hanwha Life, the one that we haven't talked about yet. Well, you have a question to ask.
Well, I mean, Rather didn't get an assist, so I don't think the back end of the Rake even hit.
I think the Ignite tick might have killed him too fast.
No.
But the one big problem I see for Hanwha Life is that Dr. Mundo gets to build magic resist against both solo lanes, and even the Iceborne Gauntlet Ezreal isn't going to be doing too much damage on earliers. Somewhat.
Okay, there's not a lot of Lamb's Respite available, and that is going to be Rather picking up the kill finally. Able to utilize that ultimate. 3rd time's the charm for the mid laner of Griffin.
With a gold lead now for the mid laner and also the Mundo having such clean itemization to take down both solo lanes. This is a Mundo set up for success. The hard carry level 16 Mundo game seems on course, and the only great area for Hanwha Life has been mid lane, and so far Griffin are sending as many bad guys as possible to hold Lava down.
Yeah, and you can see as well this laning phase has lasted for so long, and it feels like it's working out for Griffin. Able to keep this chaos going, let the Talon roam around, keep everyone in the lanes and accounted for. Will now be that Rift Herald being taken down. Finally, Shelly getting some attention today. 19 minutes on the clock. Durang just making sure that Tarzan's going to keep the smite.
I was worried for a moment there.
Yeah,
I was like, you are unleashing this for the Gragas cast pretty hard there. But does end up taking it.
2,000 gold now the lead here for Griffin.
Think of a different game. Remember the Observer noted how low the mid lane outer turret was for the Talon. Think of how many times Griffin have sent reinforcements to keep this turret up another 7 minutes, and in that time, they've also picked up the kills, and the Mundo's gotten bigger. Finally, Hanwha Life are going to make the smart rotation as Morgana might die.
Yep, Lehens, does have that stopwatch that he just picked up earlier. Thank goodness for all of those kills as Viper's now making his way in. They're still unable to take down the turret, but at least Hanwha Life are on the right side of the mid lane to keep themselves alive.
But the trade up from Griffin as that play is happening. Sword stays top lane. He's got a 5 CS lead.
Oh, first
and also,
turret to the Mundo.
Exactly. Going to really enable him to add on to the Merc trade. He's going to get on this back. Top lane, or just in general, first turret rate. It would be 7-0 if they went on to win this game, but 12-1 overall. We usually see this being the story with our best teams. Whenever you're a top 3 team, your win rate with first turret is usually around 90% or higher.
And it's not the same for Hanwha Life. Hanwha Life's win rate when it comes to that first tower not as high, even though on average they get more of these first turrets. Not happening in this game as Griffin are well and truly in control.
Games like this kind of bring back the question about why the funnel. Because to me, when the season was starting, before we saw funnel used by a lot of teams, I thought you have to ban the funnel champ. This is, of course, before I knew that Lucian could funnel, anyone could funnel. Back when I thought it was, say, Braum Kai'Sa. I was like, you have to ban the funnel champions. Otherwise, if you're a top team, one of the bottom teams can run funnel, skip over things like smart macro, just farm everything and win. But Griffin's macro is so good, and the funnel minimizes your ability to show your macro, that it seems to take away from Griffin's strength.
Also takes away from Tarzan's strength as well. Like we were talking about earlier, pathing around the jungle. Brute Force is going to get the mid lane outer turret, but that only evens the turrets up, as like you say, Griffin buying time meant that that is not going to be the objective that it was a few minutes ago.
You want to maximize your strengths, and to me, that is the ability for them to flex their macro, which has been very smart. Even early game macro that they didn't show in Challenger has been one of the highlights of Tarzan and the team of Griffin. They're going to use the Rift Herald mid lane. Seems a bit rude. They already got the turret.
Yep, and Shelly's also... Oh, no, she cancels her charge. She's going to wander forward. I wonder whether that means we'll get max damage on the inner turret if she does make it there. As Sword's going for a bit of a dive underneath this turret. Gets himself an explosive cask, which ain't bad. Yep, we find out that Shelly does, in fact, take half the health bar from the inner turret in the mid lane as well. 3,000 gold the lead now for Griffin.
I feel like if you want to play this Gragas, you have to ban Mundo, because Gragas players in the LCK aren't going ability power, so you don't get Morellonomicon. You're certainly not building Executioner's Calling, and you have a free farmed Mundo, who can turret dive you, push you off turrets. Doesn't really give too many Mundos about what the Gragas is doing, and Sword is going to be a real big problem before long. He already is.
Yeah. Even so, yeah, these briefcases are still just flying at Linderung's head. Sword taking turret shots just to make his ultimate relevant, which is very worrying
It's the only way he can feel Atlas.
And we know Mundos like to feel, mostly pain.
He has an ability called masochism.
And an ability called sadism.
That maybe should be reversed.
I know. I've always been a little bit upset about that. I've been playing Mundo recently. Really love the masochism max. It's fun. Just
do you go for the Phantom
heads.
Dancer, though? The Phantom Dancer is what you do there.
Oh, no.
Seriously, Phantom Dancer, Conqueror, Mundo, you do a hell of a lot of damage with your Phantom Dancer crits.
I feel like Papa Smitty may have just broken solo queue.
Oh, it's out there.
Yeah, but is it out there, like, broadcasted on the LCK out there?
No.
Oh, brilliant. All right, I'm going to
Come
play
on,
it
mate,
in
you're
solo
in silver, you're fine.
I am. Not bronze anymore, though.
Yeah!
Oh, baby.
I'm still stuck in Wood 5. Feels bad.
No. Okay, Dark Binding's going to go wide here in the mid lane. We've got Griffin trying to push up to that inner turret that's already taken a bit of damage. The Mundo not on the bottom side at the moment. Is rather looking for a target. Here's the catch onto Tarzan, though. Doesn't use the subjugate, holds onto it. As True Shot Barrage almost takes him down. It's a lot of buttons utilized here as Sangyun has the Lamb's Respite and uses his stopwatch. And now it could be the re-engage to come in from Griffin. Rather goes down instantly. The Zoe is going to pop him, just not quite on the same page as his team is now. Sword has the sadism running, but can they actually keep him down as Lahens goes in with the Soul Shackles and helps them grab at least the Gragas for the 1-for-1.
Actually, pretty poor execution there from Griffin. Rather went in when Tarzan was out of the fight from the start. Trying to buy time for Sword and Lahens to re-engage, but the re-engage does get them an Infernal Drake on the back end, or at least a start here for Sword.
And you saw what Sword was capable of there. Just tank up the whole entire team and not care about anything. If Rather had have gone in when that Mundo was there, very different team fight available for Griffin. So I like that you mentioned that they didn't quite have the execution. Hanwha Life holding on.
Rather definitely known for his communication with the team, but it feels like he went too Rambo after Tarzan took the True Shot Barrage and was down to 200 health. The start of this fight is perfectly fine. I think you can choose to disengage for a while. Instead, Rather goes on a solo mission, gets bopped by Linderung, who came out of control ward, so that wasn't spotted by Rather, but it was also just too aggressive. They had incomplete information. The Mundo wasn't leading the charge, so while they eventually take down Linderung, this is definitely a little bit more sloppy than you might expect from Griffin.
Yeah. Not going to be too many summoners invested, just Lahens flashing forward for that Soul Shackles. Rather does have his Ignite and his Flash available, so Griffin can go for a fight like that very, very soon. Have a look at the damage in the last team fight. Was certainly good from Rather to try and get out at least 2,000 before he fell down, but Hanwha Life Esports doing a whole lot more than Griffin bargained for.
Now let's see how Griffin closes out this game, because we had the SKT game a couple of days ago where they had a huge lead at 13 minutes, didn't have a marksman, and took a lot longer to close out against MVP. But the Griffin, they don't have a marksman. Their initiation is pretty situational. They need to control objectives, so they need to make a Baron play.
Yeah, finding a pick onto the jungler who's just backing in the middle of his jungle could be a problem. Lamb's Spike comes down as Viper also buying time and space for his team. Rather flashes over, finally gets the kill into Songwon, but now Hanwha Life, do they have a decent enough position? Lahens with the classic Morgana play, flashes in, gets the stuns, and they take down the Zoe. It's two big threats missing from Hanwha, and Griffin, you were mentioning, can they speed it up? 26 minutes in, it should be the Baron.
And they do it a creative way. Viper still had his stopwatch from taking perfect timing, so had 5 seconds of stasis in the backline, the Zonias, and also the free stopwatch used for 5 seconds of invulnerability. That controlled space, Griffin on the Baron, but Hanwha Life, they're still here.
Not to mention the fact that he got his whole health bar back as well. But yeah, Griffin, 5 men now on this Baron, but Hanwha Life want to try and challenge. Sword can tank it for basically forever as Assassin's Path gets Rather out of this fight. Linderung very, very low as now Sword. He wants to move out and just kill the Gragas. Should be able to do so as the Baron does go down. The flash comes in. It's a beautiful Black Shield, and Sword is going to survive. The Braum dies as Key once again going to fall down, and Griffin looks like they're not even going to lose anyone unless Rather dies to this red buff, and he does so. Sangyun locks him down, so it's one casualty, but Griffin still feel good.
You still definitely call it worth, Atlas. They do get the Baron. They're able to buy enough time. There was not going to be a contest, as Songwon was, of course, out of the fight. But watching the replay here of this as it developed, and they saw the Kindred skip away, made the informed guess that he was going for a risky back. He certainly was. Watch Viper count this out. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
5 seconds of stasis through all of this is so much time in the backline, then gets a black shield when he's finally once again targetable. So he looks at that and says, I really wish I could have had that much amount of stasis. That is a quirk of starting with the perfect timing and then buying a straight up Zonias. You can use both in a fight. Well done there by Viper, as Lehens just took the blue.
That was on purpose. Oh, I love it. That's absolutely fantastic. You deserved it, Lehens. You know, you need that Soul Shackles up as soon... Oh, wait, no, it is up. Rather just be real peeved that particular moment. However, he did just int in that last fight.
I've been watching this game, and I think 207 hard carry Morgana does deserve it more than Rather this game.
And also, Lehens can book it in the middle of these fights as well and utilize his Zhonya's that he's put together for himself. Like you mentioned earlier, the Shirelia's Revelry has come in. Love that item. So glad that it's back. Just feels so good to say. But not a lot of dying being done on the side of Griffin. It's just Rather. 3-0-3 for Tarzan on this Trundle. Remember, he already had a disgusting KDA. That's going to go up by at least 6 after this game. It is going to hold its current course, which is looking like Griffin able to take it down. Cloud Drake and this Infernal Drake still in their back pockets as Viper throws down the Demonic Ascension.
So fast.
Yeah, they're underneath this turret now. Thank goodness for...
That was a phase rush there, I believe, that was making him just comically fast.
As well as the little cape. Gives you the movement speed when you ult.
Secret Agent Swain, 006 in this game for Viper, as Sword finds 2 people.
Yeah, is he the secret agent, though, as the sadism is down,
There's no
and he
healing
was
reduction.
behind enemy lines. It's Owen Wilson. He's trying to take down Linderung under the turret. Lamb's Respite in the 1 versus 3. Good God.
That's why I kept saying there's no healing reduction. They can't do it. They just can't kill the super tanky Doctor. Doctor's orders says stay for as long as you want. Double kill is on the way. And meanwhile, Rather gets a turret.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sword certainly does eat an apple a day. There's Griffin pushing into the mid lane as well. Inhibitor turret now under siege. This inner has been given up on by Hanwha Life. 3-item Mundo. He hit the threshold, and now he's basically unkillable.
Good news, Mundo's full health.
Of course he is. Linderung comes down, continues hating his life. As Sword still on his phone call. Looks even more troll than it normally does, given how ridiculously unkillable he is this game.
That's what happens when you're against dual magic damage solo lanes, and Sungyun went for Iceborne Gauntlet for safety against Rather. The right build for the Talon, the wrong build for ever hoping to be anywhere near the Mundo. He wasn't around, he's the only one with an Executioner's Calling. Kindred didn't find space to buy one. Needs one if they're ever going to try a piggyback gank again.
But this Kindred is on welfare like you would not believe this game. Not a lot of marks picked up, only a couple of items, the Blood Razor being one of them. Is not a great news story because of the lack of efficiency if you can only be in a fight in a very short amount of time, given the fact that you're going to die basically instantly.
Why does Centerlink Kindred sound so much more offensive than Welfare Kindred? Doesn't it? I was thinking about it in my head.
It's so much more Australian as well. Oh, that's
But it is
brilliant.
actually the same thing, but somehow it seems like I shouldn't be saying that on
I feel like the Centerlink comp can be a composition you could make as well. We got to work out exactly which champions are supposed to be in that one. I think you need Morgana because of the Soul Shackles being the link.
You know, sometimes we have a problem during the demographics of Twitch chat. I think if we go back to the VOD and check it, anyone who's laughing about that knows... We know they're Australian, so that's important information to know.
Exactly, we can figure it out. We'll have to go through the chat, so just make sure you guys are putting as many lulls in there as possible if you understand what we're talking about.
Come on, ask them for something they can do, Atlas. They can't get the lulls in there.
I believe in you, Twitch chat. I believe in you. 9,000 gold is the lead, as most of you probably believe in Griffin as well. There's a reason why we're talking about Centerlink comps, and it's largely to do with the fact that Griffin have this game completely under control. See whether Hanwha can turn it around. Remember, the base hasn't been broken just yet, but on your screen right now is probably the biggest problem that Hanwha have faced so far in this round robin.
Been a lot of teams that did not have an answer to Dr. Mundo, but largely that was due to no marksman. The Ezreal going for a tankier build can slowly impact the Mundo, but he hasn't been around Mundo, and sadly, sending Songwan to help, as we know, hasn't been helpful. That longsword probably going to be building into an Executioner's Calling, but I may hazard a guess that it could be too late.
Lord Dominic's regard actually picked up here from Rather as well, clinging to relevance here in the later stages of the game as the Talon is hard with that item. Could certainly help him out as Songwan uses the dance of arrows, but has to move all the way around the pillar. That got a lot of value. Griffin couldn't find their way forward, respected the trouble bubble a lot, as now they want to try and find the fight. Viper just erupts into the ultimate. Already the Lambs of Spite does come down as Rather jumps into the back line. They move out of the circle and move into the death chamber as Griffin just diving inhibitor turrets now. Rather tanking up turrets. He knows that he's just happy to be death fodder, but he's not even going to go down. That's going to be the ace, and that's going to be the game for Griffin. Welcome back to the LCK.
Exactly what I was going to say. This is the Griffin that people have come to know and love. No more funnel. They bring out Tarzan on the Trundle into Kindred, considered a counter pick by many. He's able to outpath. They have some great moments. Lahens might win the MVP here. He was wonderful. 100% kill participation on the Morgana, and Griffin will win game one.
Yeah, beautiful stuff here as they do clean up these Nexus turrets. Nexus going to fall as well. Viper, a beautiful performance as well on the Swain. That 5 seconds of stasis certainly looked silly as Rather does